Hello, I'm Rick Bayshard, and welcome to my channel, and thank you for visiting it. Today, I'd like to speak to the idea and the concept of purpose. And purpose in this world is really important to pay attention to because that's going to be indicative, if we're aware of it, as to, in a way, are we evolving spiritually and so on. And what I mean by that is this. And again, we always have to keep the metaphysics in place because that gives us the framework to understand what I'm about to say today. Now, we know from the Course's teachings of its metaphysics that within that dream, one of the methodologies of the ego preventing us from ever getting back in touch with our mind is to make up a world of time and space and form. So we have the planet, we have the solar system, we have rocks, the ocean, and we have our bodies. This is what the ego made. Now, the Course does say in a very kind way that love did not make the body, love being synonymous with God. But so love did not make the body, which is form, but neither does it condemn it. And it can use the body, or any form for that matter, as a device, if you would, that will help us grow. So now we can, in light of what I've just said, begin to fold in the concept, idea of purpose. Because the ego made the world as a way for us not to look. If you think of the world of form, it's completely a mess, right? Aside from the relationships and interpersonal socialization that we all have with each other and the judgments that are constantly made, and the divisiveness and the attacks, and then on a national level, the wars. The world, if we're honest about it, is a nightmare. But it's a nightmare we made in form, from an ego perspective, not to look, to keep us distracted, to get us out of our mind. So, that is the purpose, from an ego perspective, of form. It's a tool to keep us mindless, out of our mind, because we're caught up on form, and we look at form through our eyes, and we make interpretations of it, and we make judgments of it, and if a judgment is good or bad, we got to solve this because of course we want to be happy, and the world is from an ego perspective a puzzle that we're always trying to solve in order to get that beautiful picture of peace, but the ego is so coy that we're never going to solve that puzzle. So we want to now take what the ego made in light of the Course's metaphysics and pay attention specifically, not necessarily to always the form of a mountain, but the form of what we do as the hero of the dream, as bodies, to pay attention to our individual purpose, that what we do here in this world, and how, when we narrow it down that way, that purpose can be ego motivated or loving as well. So if you have a career and you do something for people, you have clients, if you're a lawyer, you don't want to do or become a lawyer for the money, because the inherent in that is that you need the money to make you happy. And your clients will be seen as objects that you use in order to obtain what you want. So what you want to do, of course, is you got to earn money, right? You have to eat. We have to get out of the way of the city bus that's coming. We have to be in this world, okay, and not deny it. But we can now understand that we want and recognize that everybody is in this world with this hard struggle that I've discussed before. So now as a lawyer, I can join with my clients. And even though I might counsel them and so on, I'm always remembering that, yes, they have to pay me, but that's not really the purpose of me being a lawyer. That purpose is because my experience with that particular client is going to provide so many opportunities for us to join and to begin to recognize that we share that common purpose. And what is that common purpose? It's always to understand that all of us are fighting the hard battle of undoing the ego, undoing our belief in it, undoing our identification with it, because again, at a mind level, that's what we want. And until we realize it's not what we want and doesn't serve us, we're not going to do that. And that's why the world is a fundamental tool for the ego, because it's a really good tool that makes us not want it. Because the world will give us the carrot now and then. There's you go on a cruise, you go on a hike, there's wonderful dinners, there's passionate relationships, and they give us the temporary highs. But again, it's never going to be enough. So whether we're talking about being an attorney or even a doctor, or no matter what it is you're doing, make sure and at least pay attention, that is my purpose in helping this person or doing this or thinking this. Is it bringing me and them along the journey that we all share, versus doing the same exact thing except with an ego purpose? And that, if we do that, then there's no growth. So if we have a client and we want to make sure that we're not doing it for the money, and that we recognize that my experience with that individual person is one whereby I recognize, even as they pay me, that we're sharing that common journey into awareness. And that changes the ego's purpose of initially saying, well, I'm going to make my money, I'm going to be happy, they're just a device I use, and there's no real recognition that we're all one. And so purpose is really something that we want to pay attention to. And if we pay attention to it, we'll begin to recognize how so often, for the most part, unfortunately, that we are often ego motivated, and that's our purpose. But it's not something to feel guilty about, or feel sinful about. It's really actually helpful and wonderful that we're recognizing that, because that alone demonstrates that on another level we're beginning to change our mind about who we are and the purpose of this world and God and the nature of reality and my experience here as an individual purpose. It's philosophical, but that's the direction we want to go. So again, purpose is everything in this life, and the form of what we do is going to either be ego purpose, or it's going to be a purpose from love. And so, get a job, but don't do it for the money. Don't open the door for someone for the compliment. Don't get the nice car, okay, because you want to look like you're important. You want to change the purpose so that you get a nice car because you recognize its safety, and that it's a good economy, but the underlying need isn't ego-oriented. And that's, again, an ingredient, a formula for us with all the others that the Course presents us to kind of gauge, how the ego works, and gauge also in a way that, we're slowly in this world realizing that our way didn't work. The ego way doesn't work. And that, again, is the process, in this illusionary world. That's what that process looks like. It's not necessarily about changing what we do. It's changing our mind about what we do, and changing our purpose, and realizing at the mind level, what's really going on. And it's that awareness that we chip away, and then eventually, we find ourselves back at home, a place we never left. So again, thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please feel free to hit a like or subscribe, and I hope to get another video out to you as soon as I can. Thank you.